All right, good afternoon, everyone. We would like to welcome you to our Fall 2020 Higher and Post-Secondary Education Applied Project poster session. Thank you all for being here. First, we'd like to, of course, welcome our presenters and our graduate students who will be sharing with you all shortly about some of the work that they've done over the last 15 weeks, although in many cases for many of our students, this represents a longer engagement with the topic, whether it's through their own professional careers or through practicum experiences. But what this culminating project will give you an opportunity to do is to learn a little bit more about the things that they've been able to research and gather data on and share findings related to critical and timely issues within higher and post-secondary education context. I should have started by saying my name is Kia McGuire. I'm an associate professor in the higher and post-secondary education program. My gender pronouns are he, him, and his. Um, and I would also like to acknowledge the ancestral homelands of the Akmi, Atham, and Peepash peoples' lands, which we all are working from and learning on. And so I would like to start by simply sharing a little bit about the program and more importantly, where this project fits within that within students' learning experiences. And then I'll turn it over to my colleague, Dr. McIntyre, who will share a little bit more about the floor of the events for today. Again, our higher and post-secondary education program is an opportunity and a learning experience that's really geared to prepare professionals to work in a variety of contexts on college and university campuses. One of the things that has become a core identity of our program has been the process by which we help and work alongside students as they learn ways to gather data, analyze data, all in the service of improving higher education practice and policy wherever they may be located. And so this applied inquiry or applied project, that poster session that you see here today is a culmination of a 15-week exercise or experience. During the first 7.5 weeks, our students have an opportunity to design a project. Of course, these projects are oftentimes very ambitious, and over our 15 weeks, we are able to pare it down into something that is not only manageable, but that will be impactful with the data that they're able to gather. And then in this session B of the semester, students are able to carry out their research project. And we'll get a little bit towards this at the end of the session today when we give some thank yous, but you should know this represents not only the work of our students and the faculty who are in the classroom, but also a number of mentors who sign up to work with students along and help give feedback on their projects as they're being designed and carried out. So we look forward to you all engaging with our students today, asking them questions, learning about their research, and hopefully having a very invigorating conversation. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Dr. McIntyre, who will say a little bit more about how the rest of the afternoon will be spent.
Thank you. Hi there. My name is Lisa McIntyre. I am an executive director in the University Provost Office at ASU and teach in the Master in Higher Ed program. The applied project is one of my favorite classes because, as Dr. McGuire said, this is about the topics that the students are most interested in. And so I always learn a lot about topics that I maybe don't get exposure to on a regular basis. So I hope all our guests have that same experience. Our students will be presenting in small breakout rooms of 3 to 4 folks. Dr. McGuire is going to put a link in the chat where you can find the Zoom breakout room link for the individual that you're here to support or the breakout room that you're most interested in. They are grouped by topics. We ask that you mute your microphones. You're all doing a great job of that if you're not the one presenting. We will present in order of the link that Dr. McGuire just shared. There will be a facilitator in the room to just kind of make sure all the technical pieces go right. They will be recorded sessions. We also ask that you hold all your questions until all of the presentations in your breakout room are complete, and then we'll open up that session for questions. We do encourage you to ask questions. These folks are experts on this topic and have spent a lot of time and energy becoming experts. And so this is a great opportunity for them to answer any questions that you might have. Once all the presentations in your breakout room are complete, we ask you to come back to this main session room for us to wrap up the program. So with that, Dr. McGuire, anything I missed or you want to add before we break out?
Nope, that's it. And please reach out to us for any questions that you might have. Dr. McIntyre and I will be moving from room to room. I see that I just got a message in the chat asking, can individuals move from room to room? Yes, as long as you're not a presenter. So all of our guests beyond the students are able to again move as you would like to bounce around to hear different topics of conversation and discussion. And so again, at this time, we'll give folks about 5 to 7 minutes to make your way over to your rooms. For our students who are on the call, again, look at the sheet as well so that you can go to the room that you will be in. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So thank you and welcome all again.
My name is Frank Argumedo, and I did my topic on veteran success in higher education. So my research problem. This research is for Arizona State University, specifically for my research in Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College. It is to determine if veterans are receiving the proper tools and resources to be successful in college after their enlistment. Oh, I forgot to turn my camera on. Is it too late? All right, it's too late.
You can turn it on at any point.
I have no idea how to do that. All right, never mind, got it. There it is. All right, the overall goal is to examine the difficulty of veterans transitioning to college, resources, and motivation and engagement. The study purpose, I put my research question and my sub-questions. So are veterans receiving the proper support in accessing their educational benefits? And my sub-questions are, how do resources differ across service branches? Are educational benefits tied to motivation in completing a degree? And how is ASU helping student veterans with their benefits? My methodology. So I conducted a survey of 21 questions and it was distributed to veteran clubs and organizations at Arizona State University. A couple of the demographics were that the participants were asked their gender, age, what year of college they were in, and what branch of service they served in. Their last year of active service and what educational benefit they are entitled to. I managed to receive 33 responses and 26 were male and 7 were female participants. The ages varied with the average age being 34.2, the youngest participant being 24 years old and the oldest being 58 years old. So I originally wanted to focus my data on first and second year students, but I ended up getting students from first year to graduate students. And the totals are as followed. For first year students, I got 1 student. Second year, I got 4 students. Third year, I got 7 students. And fourth year, I got 12 students. And graduate students, I got a total of 9. So I currently work for the clubs and organizations at Arizona State downtown. And I ended up using that support network to distribute my survey amongst clubs and organizations. And that's why I got such a mixture of different academic years. The only branch that didn't participate was the Coast Guard. The Army had 9 participants, Marine Corps had 7, and Air Force had 8 participants in the Navy, and the Navy had 9 participants. And for the GI Bill, the majority of the participants are using the post 9/11 GI Bill, which is at 84%. And the only difference between that and the post 9/11, the post 9/11 and the Montgomery GI Bill is that the post 9/11 GI Bill is automatically free right after your enlistment. And the Montgomery GI Bill, you're paying for that during your enlistment. I think it's once a month. And the reason I picked this because I'm a veteran myself. I served in the Marine Corps for 4 years in the Marine Corps Infantry. So this is one of the topics that was very near and dear to me. Key findings. So I asked the Pat Tillman Veteran Center I mean, I asked if the Pat Tillman's Veteran Center helped survey participants enroll in benefits. 52% of the participants said yes, and 48 said no, which is almost a 50-50 split. This question was distributed in my survey, by the way. So what is the problem? The problem is that they aren't receiving help initially, as you can see in the table. In the table, I have, let me move this name. In the table, I have the Pat Tillman's Veteran Center helped. Did they reach out, or did you reach out, or did they reach out to you? And 48% said that I reached out, 6% said that they reached out, and 45% said it does not apply. So that 45 is it's tied into that 48% that you can see on top here of the ones that didn't receive help from the Pat Tillman Veteran Center. So I believe that the Pat Tillman Center should be reaching out to make sure that student veterans feel supported. The Pat Tillman's Veteran Center should be doing an initial outreach when veterans enroll at Arizona State University to make sure that they all feel supported. So the biggest thing here is that I found out in my research that the Pat Tillman's Veteran Center is providing the support, but veterans have to go out of their way to reach out to Pat Tillman's Veteran Center to get that support, when it should be all the other way around. So key findings and motivation. So are educational benefits tied to motivation and completing a degree? Depending on where you, so one thing to notice is, to note is that depending on where you live in the United States, you're given a monthly housing allowance to cover living expenses once a month. So here in, for example, here in Arizona or Phoenix, the monthly housing allowance is around $1,700 a month that you get for free, just for being a full-time student. And compared to San Francisco, in San Francisco, you get about $3,500 to $4,000 a month for going to school. And that's part of the post 9/11 GI Bill. And this is all tied to motivation. So this is motivation for student veterans to continue going to school full time in order to receive a steady paycheck. From my personal experience, I needed to go to school in order to pay rent. So, and this could be the case for a lot of student veterans. When participants were asked how important it is to receive the GI Bill for monthly housing allowance, 73% it was said it was extremely important, while one participant said it was not important at all. So how one of the questions is, how influential do you feel the GI Bill is on your motivation to pursue your education? Here you can see on the graph that 45% of the participants found it extremely influential, 36% found it very influential, and 6% found it somewhat influential, while 9% found it not influential at all. So for the most part, you can see the green and the yellow, that it's very influential for participants to receive their GI Bill to pursue their education. So key findings: engagement. When measuring the level of importance, with being involved in clubs, 24% of participants said it was very important, 27% said neutral, and 21% said low importance. So when measuring student participants and their overall engagement on campus, it was divided into 3 parts: level of importance of being involved with clubs, the veterans being involved with clubs, the Veteran Center, and overall engagement, such as attending events, career fairs, etc. The reason why this measurement was done was because engagement is tied to the overall success of student engagement of students in higher education. So when measuring the level of importance, sorry, I already read that. As for measuring the level of overall engagement on campus, such as events, career fairs, etc., 50% of participants said it was extremely important. 24% said it was very important, and 24% neutral. 15% said low importance, and 21% it's not important at all. Engagement results were very similar across the board, ranging from high importance to neutral and low importance. It is important to note that student veterans are more likely to be involved at the local Veteran Center. So the students being involved at the Veteran Center had the highest numbers out of the engagement factors. The reason that this could be is because they're surrounded by their peers and other veterans such as themselves, which can make them feel more comfortable. Student veterans are non-traditional students, and looking back at the demographics, where the youngest participants being 24 years old and the oldest being 58. So they're non-traditional. They're obviously going to be older than the traditional student. From personal experience, I didn't want to be involved in clubs when I was doing my undergrad because I didn't want to be around students straight from high school. I wanted to be around students that were just like me, and there were veterans around the same age group as me and going through the same journey as me. So, implications. The Pat Tillman's Veteran Center could conduct initial outreach in order to successfully meet the needs of student veterans. The Veteran Center should be doing initial outreach to target all veterans in need of support. They should ask if they need help with enrolling with benefits, ways to get involved, and offer extra resources for support, such as tutoring, the Writing Center, and career professional development services for resume building and finding jobs. So all these resources are actually offered at ASU already. So the main thing that the Pat Tillman's Veteran Center should focus on is actually providing these resources and making them available to veterans, because a lot of them won't go out of their way to actually use these resources or learn about them. And I learned that while being in the military, because you're often told what to do and when to do it. So if you're not told about these resources, you often don't go out of your way to pursue these resources. And second, the Pat Tillman's Veteran Center could conduct workshops on how to utilize their GI Bill to the fullest. So one thing to note about the post 9/11 GI Bill is that you only get it for 36 months. And that's literally less than 4 years of your college career. And the main thing is that there's ways to utilize it to the fullest, because in my personal experience, I used it for my bachelor's degree and I used it for my master's degree. So I use it for both. I just maximized my number of classes each semester. I took summer classes. I took winter classes. I know they don't offer that at ASU, but I took winter classes. And I ended up doing a lot of CLEP exams. CLEP exams are available to all veterans, so they could get credits within an hour. They just take an exam and they get credits within an hour. I took a Spanish CLEP exam, and I got 16 credits within an hour. So that's one thing that's important to note. And 45% of student veterans said the GI Bill is extremely influential to motivation to pursue their education, and 36% said it was very influential. So tying into that, the Veteran Center should focus on ways to conduct these types of workshops to educate those veterans and make sure that they use the GI Bill to an advantage, so student veterans can properly use it all the way and further their education and further their motivation. And that is all.
Thank you so much. So thank you for that, Jordan. So I have to say, this is my first time participating in a virtual poster session, and that felt like a whirlwind, but in a good way. So thank you all for your presentations. Both Dr. McIntyre and I had an opportunity to hop around from room to room. I'm actually going to stop talking and turn over to Dr. McIntyre, and I'll say a little bit more to close us out at the end.
All right. I just wanted to congratulate all of you. You should be very proud of what you did. I know this semester was like none other. Just like Dr. McGuire, that was my first virtual poster session. And I just want to commend you all on your resilience and determination in making it work. We had all kinds of fun challenges to work through, and we all did it and had great communication. And I think you all, just the potential is limitless for all of you. So I wish you all the best of luck. I hope to hear updates from you all where your careers take you, and always here as a resource for you all. So I see all the applause and celebrations going up. It might be a bit much to unmute and do a round of applause, but want to thank all the guests, family members who were able to join us today. That is one of the great things about our virtual opportunity, is that I think we might have been able to expand our audience a bit more. We will be sharing recordings with the students. So if you weren't able to have a guest join us today, please share it with them. There's no way any of us would have made it through this program without all the support of our family and friends. And I also want to thank our colleagues. So every student in this part of the project has access to a professional mentor who's met with them multiple times throughout the semester and giving them feedback and encouragement. And so thank you all for doing that for our students. It really was great to see the feedback and insights, and having that other perspective to bounce ideas around was really helpful and benefited the work. So all right, well, I'll stop gushing. Dr. McGuire, what did you have?
Yeah, so just one more thank you before we move on, which is to Jody and her team who have handled all the logistical um, responsibilities for today, is setting up the virtual rooms, making sure that all the Zoom links work, and making sure that we have facilitators in each room. So thank you to Jody, Ashley, Pinnock, Liam, Caitlin, for your support and making sure that this program went off without any hiccups. So thank you all very much for making this easy for Dr. McIntyre and myself. I also would just like to echo Dr. McIntyre and thank our mentors. Usually we have like mentors and program instructors like raise their hand. I think there's a reaction to do that. So if you know how to raise your hand or put a thumbs up, maybe if you want to put a thumbs up, how about that? So that we can acknowledge all of our mentors and program faculty who teach and work alongside our students throughout the program. Your support is sincerely and deeply appreciated. As you all know, I think one of the biggest strengths of our program is that we have meaningful and long-lasting relationships with individuals who are educators and scholars working both at ASU, but also across the Valley, and sometimes as well as in other states. And so we appreciate the support that you provide, and the mentorship and the learning that you, or the way that you help to expand the learning of our students in our program. So thank you very much for that. And most importantly, I want to say congratulations and thank you to our students. I'm sure it cannot go overstated, I think, how unique this semester has been. And you all continue to approach the project and your capstone experience with enthusiasm, with a level of dedication, a level of flexibility and creativity that I think I was just excited to see, and gave me also energy as I entered and worked with you all over the last 7.5 weeks. And so I know very few things feel like it's normal as far as celebrating things in this particular context, but we do hope that you will find time to honor this moment in some way, to reflect back on all of the hard work that you've accomplished over your time in the program, and that you are able to enjoy at least a moment of reprieve with family and friends and colleagues, because what you have accomplished not only today and throughout the semester, but over the program is definitely worth celebrating. And it has been our pleasure to be on this journey alongside of you. So there's just two more things before we wrap up. So first one is kind of an announcement of sorts, which is at the very end, we'll ask all mentors, program faculty, and students to stay on the call so that we can take a photo. We may have to take multiple photos. I actually don't know how this works, taking photos in Zoom, but Jody will be here to assist us with that. And also every semester during the capstone experience, we have an opportunity to recognize a student, one of your colleagues and peers, who is nominated by program faculty as a recognition for their achievement and contributions, both inside and outside of the classroom, to the higher and post-secondary education program. And so this year we'll have an opportunity to do the same. And what I'm going to do is just share very briefly what one nominator said about this particular student before I announce who the student is. And again, we and Lindsay, Dr. Dipple, who was on the call, normally does this part and does it much more eloquently than I do as I fumble through this process. But it's really an opportunity for us to recognize a peer who who has made significant contributions, who has also impressed upon faculty with their dedication, not simply in this course, but throughout the program, and is therefore worthy of the nomination. We usually will hand you a piece of paper or a certificate of an award framed. We will have to connect after this in order to pass that along to you. But one nominator said about this student that this student is extremely engaged. They also demonstrate a high level of intellectual curiosity, and they also not only work well with students, but embrace collaboration. And that this student in particular deserves recognition for their outstanding contributions that they made to the learning environment within and across classrooms. And so without further ado, that student is Dakota Weber. So let's give Dakota a round of applause. And also, Dakota, congratulations. I know you didn't know this was happening. You and I can connect after to make sure that you get your certificate and award. But again, congratulations, and for an award that's well deserved. Okay. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So we're going to stop there. Again, thank you for everyone who came and visited with us. We'll ask for the students and program faculty and mentors to stay on so that we can get one picture, and we'll share that out with everyone as well.